Oh, yeah, that's what it was. And we went back to see my birthplace. I think it was year before last. And let's see. We didn't get to see it. We saw the outside of it, but the next door neighbor said that they passed away. The ones that were living when I was there, when I was born.
So you moved to Charleston, and you lived there for how long then after that?
Long time.
So you went to Charleston High School.
Went to Taft, and let's see. I can't remember where I went after that. Some junior high. I don't remember what it was.
Was it in Kanawha City?
No, it wasn't in Canal City. It was, well, yeah, it was too. It was Capital School. It's still a schoolhouse, but it doesn't have school in there. It's on Washington Street. Yeah, I went to.
But that's not in Kanawha City.
That's in. Well, you know where the Capitol is. That's
Yeah.
what they called it then, and it was Capital School.
Is it where the Board of Education is now?
No, that's downtown farther.
Oh.
That's way down Broad Street or someplace.
It's
in
on
there.
Elizabeth Street.
Elizabeth, okay. Down in there, and went to that school.
And then you went to Charleston High School.
Yeah. Well, no, went to East Bank.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
went to
you were
East
living
Bank.
where when you went to East Bank?
We lived in
Glasgow.
Glasgow.
So you moved to Glasgow after you were in junior high.
And Papa would not. He would N-O-T take me to school if I missed the bus. I had to walk from Glasgow down to Cedar Grove, catch a ferry boat, and cross the river, and then walk from the river where the ferry boat pulled off to the school, high school. He wouldn't do anything like take me to school. I had to learn to catch the school bus.
So was there no bridge?
No. Well, yeah, the school bus went across the bridge.
But there was still a ferry.
But there was a ferry down in Cedar Grove. And I had to walk down the railroad tracks from Glasgow to Cedar Grove, walk to the river, catch the ferry boat, and go to high school. If I missed the bus. I better not miss the bus.
Did that make you late then?
A little bit. But I knew when the bus went by, I knew that. And so I knew well, I didn't have a watch at that time, but I knew if I hurried and went down the railroad, walked down the railroad track, why I could get down there by the time the bus left Glasgow and went clear down and crossed the bridge and back up to the high school. Okay, I was all right. I got to the school just about the time the bus did.
Well, I guess that's good.
Well, I didn't mind it, but I'd rather ride the bus if I could catch it.
Did you run after it?
No, I don't remember running after it.
So where did you go when you left Cedar Grove?
We went down and crossed the bridge.
No, I mean when you were living there. Where did you move next?
What do you mean?
Where did your father move?
Oh, from Glasgow? Oh, brother. Sharon.
So you moved up Sharon. So there wasn't any way
And
to
I
catch.
tried to learn to drive when we lived in Sharon, but I didn't learn to. Now, what were you saying?
I said you couldn't catch the bus that way. I mean, if you missed the bus, that would have been a long walk out of there.
Yeah, it would have.
So you, by that time, you were catching the bus, right?
I was driving then.
Oh, were you out of school, high school?
I don't know how I did it, but I drove with somebody in the car with me. I was driving, but I didn't do a good job. I didn't pass my test.
How long did you live in Sharon?
Not very long, because I moved in with Phyllis on Doris Street, close to the Capitol.
So that you could go to Morse Harvey?
I went to Charleston High then.
Oh, Charleston High School.
I walked.
So how many years did you go to East Bank?
2, I think. I think I went to East Bank 2 years. I'm almost sure.
And then you graduated from Charleston High School.
Yeah,
But living with Phyllis.
yeah.
And what was she doing at the time? Was she the registrar at Morse Harvey
I don't
then?
think so. I think she was working at that place on the boulevard. What was the name of that place? I can't remember what the place's name was. No, I can't remember that. But I know it was down on the boulevard, downtown Charleston. She was working down there. Hale Street, that's where she was working.
But what place do you remember?
Morse Harvey College.
Oh, it was on Hale Street then.
Uh-huh. Yeah, if I stop long enough, I can remember all these places that we lived in. I walked to Hale Street from Charleston High School and waited on Phyllis to get off work downtown, and then we rode the bus together up to the Capitol. I mean, it was close to the Capitol where we lived. It was on the railroad tracks. We were right by the railroad tracks in that little 2-room house. That's where we lived when I graduated from high school.
Now, she was the registrar, right?
Yeah.
When did Morse Harvey move across the river?
When I started at Morse Harvey College,
Oh.
I was one of the first students that lived in the new
Dorms.
buildings and everything, and I loved
And
it.
you worked your way through college,
Yes.
right? What did you do?
Well, I worked in the registrar's office. I worked on the telephone, what do you call that? The,
Operator switch or
Yeah.
switchboard?
yeah, I worked on that. I worked in the library. Just anywhere they had need of a worker, why, they had me work in there. And I'd go get my check for working in the library or working in the English office or wherever I happened to have a job. I got my paycheck and went to the bursar and handed them my paycheck to pay my for my
Tuition.
tuition. Worked my way through.
So you didn't have any student loans, did you? Well, I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah. Papa was poor. He couldn't have paid it.
Oh, I know, but I mean, today they get student loans and get so much in debt that.
Yeah, well, I
it's
had
hard
to pay
come in.
mine myself
Yeah.
out of the.
And so that's where you met Dad, wasn't it, at Morris Harvey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was on crutches then.
So how did you happen to meet him?
Well, Vivian was going to college at Morris Harvey then. And every Monday morning, she would meet me and we'd talk to each other. And she'd say, "We went to see James Saturday." And I thought, well, who's James? And so finally I met him. And I would drive down to
Where were they meeting him, seeing him, at the hospital? Where did they go?
down in Huntington. Yeah, and she would say we went to see him Saturday, or we went to see him whenever they did, and I kept hearing about him and what they were doing and how they were operating on him and all the details. And then he got out of the hospital. He got out of the VA, and I was driving by then, and I drove Papa's car and went down to see Mary and Vivian. Went to visit them, and I was sitting in the car, parked out on the street, and he came out there one day and he said, "Come down sometime and I'll let you drive a good car." He had a brand new car, and I had a used car, Papa's, which I was driving at the time.
How was he able to afford a brand new car?
I think Kenneth helped him buy it, and I got to drive it. And Ella Jean taught me how. Ella Jean taught me how to drive.
And who was Ella Jean?
She was my cousin that lived here.
Oh, in this house. So how did that evolve into a romance?
I don't know. We just started going together. He'd ask me if I wanted to go to a certain revival in some church somewhere, and he'd take me to that church to just to be going to church together, and he'd take me to the football games and the basketball games of Morris Harvey, and we just kept going together, and I never dated anybody else after that. After we started dating each other.
And you graduated with what degree?
AB.
In
What?
what subject?
Sociology.
Sociology.
Yeah. That was my... What do you call that now? Your
Major.
major. Yeah.
What? And he graduated with a degree in business, right?
Business, yeah, business
With a-
education.
With a minor in religion.
In what?
Religion?
You know, I don't remember about that. I couldn't tell you.
Because I think he said that his professors suggested that he go to Vanderbilt.
Yeah, because he made his best grades in religion and all those subjects. He made good grades in those, and he failed something else. I don't remember what it was, but he took English, and I had to do the papers. I had to
Type
Oh,
them?
huh?
You typed them?
No, not typing. He typed, but I had to correct them. I had to
Oh, proofread.
proofread. Yes, you got it. I couldn't think of the word proofread. That's what I proofread his English papers so he would get a good grade in English.
So then you got together and moved to Tennessee, huh?
Not right away. We got married, I know that, before we moved to Tennessee. We got married in the church. What was the name of that church?
Humphrey's Memorial.
Humphreys, yes. That's where we got married. We moved.
But you got married, and you moved. Your first house was in St. Albans.
Right.
Okay, and then he felt the call to ministry,
Yeah.
and his
Oh,
professors.
well, in the meantime, we joined the Nazarene church. Because Grandma Shank was a Nazarene, and Mary Lou and Vivian were going to Dunbar Nazarene. And they invited us to come there, and they were so friendly to us, and they welcomed us so much down there that we transferred our membership. Well, Papa didn't care, but Mama was mad. She said, "We need good people in the Methodist church too." Well, I couldn't help it.
So where was he at the time? Had they
He was
retired?
going to Mount Hall.
Tabor?
No, we were still going to Dunbar Nazarene.
No, I mean, where was your dad pastoring at the time?
Dunbar.
Oh, at Dunbar Methodist?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then you moved to Tennessee. Did your Grandma Tum get over her
Disappointment.
disappointment?
Yeah, she got over it. Papa he told us in a letter, and we didn't even tell Mama. But he had written to the district superintendent in the Nazarene church and asked if he could be transferred, if he could come out of the Methodist and go to the Nazarene. And they told him, the DS said, "Well, what I suggest for you to do is go to the campground and speak to the people there and get acquainted with them and all that." He didn't have any money to go to campground. He couldn't afford it. So that was the end of that. He never got to go to the Nazarene church.
So you went to Tennessee,
Yep.
and you went to Old Hickory, right? Is that
Yep.
what you said?
Mm-hmm.
And he went to Vanderbilt,
Yeah.
and he didn't like it very well.
Oh, yeah, you're about right. I don't think he liked it at Vanderbilt very well. But he passed. He got that little old degree, whatever it was.
In religion,
Yeah.
that it wasn't a master's.
Yeah, it was a master's. But I can't remember all the details of it.
But he took some classes at Scarrett, right?
Yeah.
So where is his degree papers? His Morse Harvey degree and his...
All rolled up in a thing that they gave out that when he got his degree. Why, he got that thing all rolled up in the...
Some things Jim put in the
What'd she
safety
say?
deposit box.
Oh, okay.
Huh?
She said Jim put some of that stuff in the safety deposit box.
Yeah, it's right over there someplace. Right there. It's right there.
Well, that's just a lockbox.
That's a lockbox, and that's got all kinds of things in it.
Yeah. We'll just have to look at it sometime.
He's looked at it and has my car's license plate and everything in it. Kenneth helped me get a car when I got a job, when we lived at Marmette.
Yeah, but that's a long time after.
Oh, yeah.
It's a long time after Tennessee.
Yeah. Yeah, we'd moved to Marmette then.
So when you were in Tennessee, you moved, what churches did you pastor or serve in down there?
Humboldt.
No. While you were in Nashville,
Oh.
close to Nashville. You went to Old Hickory, and did he serve in that church as associate pastor or something, or what?
No, their pastor left, and the DS wanted them to become their pastor. So that's when we moved to. Where do we live now? Tell me.
Una.
Una. That's when we moved to Una to pastor the Bell Road Church. That's right. And we stayed there till, goodness, I don't know how long but when we went there, we moved to Una, and we pastored there at Una from, about a year. We had the vacation Bible school and all that, and we got the attendance built up from 15, I think, to 40 or something like that. 15 people in Sunday school and church. And the same ones that came to Sunday school stayed for church and came back that night and came back on Wednesday night. And then we had vacation Bible school, so we built the church up from 15 to 40.
And that was which church?
Humboldt.
Humboldt. And that was in... That wasn't Tipton County. What county was that in?
It must have been Tipton County.
I think that's where the island was, though, wasn't it?
I can't remember all that right now. They needed a pastor on the island because the pastor that was there before us had moved somewhere in some other country. They were trying out for the missions, and they passed it, so then they appointed them to a mission, and it's still in the come ye apart. If we find an old come ye apart thing, why it has that in it. Has the island in it. The missionary's name that was the pastor in Humboldt.
I think I used to remember it, but I can't now.
You were too little.
I mean, I remember you talking about it.
Oh, okay. But you...
Gibson County.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Gibson County, yeah, and I was working for them. And that's how we survived when we moved to Marmette. Because we didn't have any income at all, and I wrote to Gibson County and asked for all my money that I had accumulated. What do you call that? Retirement from Gibson County, and they sent me money, and we lived on it.
On the island?
No, in Marmette.
Oh, in Marmette. Yeah, but you had a whole experience on the island before you came back to West Virginia.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 years teaching school.
So what I'm going to do...
Oh, yes, I was well aware of what happened that first night. First of all, you had the Asian flu, and you were a sick child, very sick. And I had never met the babysitter who was going to be taking care of you 3 children while my husband, your dad, taught school. But she came over and she said, why don't you let me take the baby over to my house so that it won't be cold in the house over there in the back of the church, and get him colder with the flu. And that was the oddest thing that I'd ever tried to do, was leave my baby with a total stranger all night. She said, well, if he wakes up and cries, I'll bring him over there. So we went ahead and moved all the furniture into the house and all the other things besides the furniture, like all the dishes and buckets and everything, and then we went to bed, but we noticed that there were mice in the house, and so we set 4 mouse traps that night and went to bed. And every time we'd get just about falling asleep, we'd hear one of the traps go off, and we'd get up and reset it and throw out the mouse and mice out of the traps. And then we would go back to bed, and then we'd hear another mouse trap somewhere else in the house snap. So it was like that all night long, that first night. And the babies did well. John didn't wake up until morning. And then she brought him over.